people. We are back, episode 196, and we...
Go ahead.
What the fuck?
I was celebrating episode 196.
You ain't celebrated episode 195?
Well, because I forgot about my bubbles.
Episode 196, we are back in the building. It's your boy, International Walk.
It's your girl, Tasha, co-hostess with the mostest.
Bubble girl over here. Bubble like the bubble boy that used to live in the bubble. This is Bubble Girl.
I love bubbles.
You can catch us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music Podcast, Index, Podchaser, Google Podcasts, Player FM. Type us in, like, share, subscribe, share, engage, comment, do all that good stuff. Talk to us a little bit. We'll talk back. Let's get right to it. How are you this week?
Would
it be like?
I'm good. I feel good today. I'm probably
got a bitch a sandwich or something.
You didn't feed me today. I'm a 9 today. I feel good. Life, just be coming at you, and even when nothing is necessarily wrong, you start getting a certain age, you hear about other people's ailments, you have a little bit of ailments yourself, and it kind of, if you let it can be anxiety ridden. I choose not to let it. I try to stay in a place of optimistic realism.
Oh.
Like, I know things can happen, but I just try to, have that faith and be optimistic about things. But, un poquito es en la cabeza. That. Finances, an 8, room for growth, for improvement. That's, yeah.
We're blooming, baby.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. Work is a 10. No issues. Had a great time this week celebrating one of my colleagues, and people have jobs and they do their jobs, but it really is a difference when people love their job and enjoy their job. It's a difference when you work with them. So many people go to work every day and complain. I think majority of people complain about their jobs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and not many people get a chance, not many people get a chance to do things that they love, that they're passionate about. So it was
because if you just, not to cut you off, but if you just have a job, you got tricked.
Yeah.
You got tricked. You should be doing something that you love or are passionate about. It might not be your thing, but at least you love doing it. But yeah, if you don't have something that you're passionate or care about, then you got tricked.
And sometimes, even if your job isn't that, if you have that in your life somewhere else, it can kind of help to balance that. Because not
that's why
everybody.
I said if it's not your thing.
Yeah, everybody may not be able to do what they love. Like if you love taking care of people, you may not be able to wake up tomorrow and be a caretaker or a nurse or something like that. But if you have to incorporate that somewhere in your life to give you that feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. So. But yeah, work for me is a 10, and physically I'm a 9. I feel good. I feel much better than I did last week. I will tell you though, with COVID, it's one of them things where you kind of have scratching my sides.
No, you had something there.
Oh,
I just thought you itched.
You kind of have that lingering grogginess a little bit in your head.
For long COVID.
But I thought long COVID is, I've been having it.
Yes,
You hear me coughing
COVID.
at night? I mean, it's only been a week, so I don't know if it's necessarily would be considered long, but I've been having this little tickling cough at night that I didn't even have before. That's like, go away, leave me alone. So, I physically feel good. That kind of like groggy, loopy head feeling. I would be lying if I said that was like 100% going, but for the most part, I feel good. My nose is not 100%. I would say I'm probably at like 92%.
I would say 90 because you still sounded in the back of your throat a little bit, like you sound nasally.
Yeah.
And the fact that you still coughing.
I know, the cough is like, and it bothers me at night, which I think is like tied into that so maybe the post-nasal drip making your throat itch, but I woke up like in a frenzy this morning, like, oh my God, I'm sleepy, and I got in late last night. I was tired. I'm like, I want to go to sleep. I'm tired of coughing. It kept me up. But yeah, how are you?
I am good. I'm gonna run through mine. So mentally, I am a 9. I feel good. I was a little trepidatious going with you today, but you know, very informative. You got glitter on you. Was it strip club?
Mm-hmm.
Chippendales?
Get it?
Had the dad that dick on the shoulder?
I didn't go. No, I went to the girls' strip club.
Oh.
It's like I've never been. He won't take me, y'all.
Finances is a 8. Room for growth. Got a tiny bloom. Work is a 9. Work is great. Moving on to another job, same building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Physicality, I feel like a 9. Didn't go to the gym today because I had to go with my baby, take care of some business. But yeah, so I'll be back at it tomorrow.
I appreciate your support, and you know I told you. I mean, I know you got to work, and I was okay.
Who else gonna advocate?
Going by myself, but I appreciate you being by my side.
Who else gonna advocate? Who else gonna ask some questions? Let the doctor know she got some motherfucker care about her. So don't be bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? She got people who care about her. So or a person who gives a shit about her. A whole big shit about her. A big dookie.
What's your wows and woes this week?
Wows is I made it another week. No, not quite. I ain't gonna say no injuries, but no pain. No, I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. Let me just say that. Yeah, I've been working out like crazy. Might have injured myself working out a little bit, but we'll get back. We'll get fixed and get back to it. Woes is got no woes. Everything's just good. I'm blessed. I'm happy. I'm loving life right now. No woes. How about you?
My wow is just you, us, just having it. No, just be you and just.
What I be doing?
You give me just a sense of peace. Me. It's like I was gonna say it's like a 3-quarter braid, but God is actually in that too. But it's like my own sense of peace, and then what you add to it, and then what our relationship adds to it. It just makes me feel good.
When a woman call you peaceful, you good, man. You good. I ain't never been called peaceful. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's
what's up with you.
My woe. I'm not gonna have no woes. You know. Well, I'll say my woe is just it's. I don't ever want to say getting old is a woe because the alternative
is dying young.
Exactly. But you know, just having to face, you know, different health things. Well, and I'm not talking about specifically us, but just people in general. Like when people your age start going through stuff, you'd be like,
it's around that age though. It's mid 40s. We're around that age. Where again, I used to be a meme out there that says the Parkinson's you get at 60 started at 20. The heart disease you get at 50 started at 30 with your diet. So these things, you know, they add the things that we ignored when we were young. For some of us, it catches up.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. There's some people that be so healthy and living life, and people be like, "Oh my God, he just dropped dead." And so I mean. I'm serious. The people say he lived a healthy life. He never smoked. He never drank. And you know, his clock was punched.
Yeah.
But you just never know. But you know, you just get those little reminders here and there of how important it is to take care of yourself and really just do the best that you can, because it ain't really up to us. I mean, there are some things within our control. There's a lot within our control. But again, when that clock get punched,
when you're young, you don't think about like what older people are thinking about, like in their 40s and 50s. It's like shit. They was really thinking about like living, staying alive.
You know, it's crazy because
like they was at an age where it was like, fuck all that dumb shit. Like I'm trying to stay alive.
It's crazy. My grandma, my grandma passed away right before her 61st birthday. But I'm not laughing at this, but she had a heart attack, I think when she was around 50. And I used to always be like, oh my God, she tells her, like she would see somebody and be like, hey, how you doing? I ain't seen her in a while. She'd be like, yeah, you know, I had a heart attack. He'd be like, Grandma, that was 5 years ago.
So what? I ain't seen this person.
No, I get it.
It's part of my story.
As a kid, you don't understand, but as an adult, you understand like how integral that moment of your life, how huge that is, and whatever other serious medical issues that you might have going on. So you're right, as a kid you don't realize those things. You just be thinking,
ideally at a certain age you got a certain set of problems. Like in your 20s you're not supposed to have heart attack problems, but when you get to a certain age, 40 and 50, those are the conversations amongst friends. Like,
but it would be
how's
like,
your husband? You know, he had a heart attack. Oh, he good? Yeah, he good. But it's like those are the things that's happening now. It ain't like the shit that you talked about when it was like in your 20s and 30s.
Right. But as a kid, I didn't get that. Like, I didn't understand the heaviness of it. And thank God, you know, she was okay. You know, unfortunately passed away years later from something else. But again, in that moment, and it's not that I didn't know, because I remember when it happened, it was like a scary thing. Like, oh my God, grandma was in the hospital, she had a heart attack. But like as a kid, you think, this sounds so stupid. Like, you think a heart attack, it just seems so common because it's something you always hear about. But, you know, when you get older, you realize, like, this is why she was always telling people, like, that's serious. Like, she was saying it not almost as like a praise report of, like, I'm here. I had a heart attack, but I'm here.
And it's levels to this shit. So if you had a minor heart attack, or you had a major fucking heart attack where it's like, I might have seen the light. So I'm telling people that I've seen the light. I was here, and, you know, I'm back. So yeah, it's something to I mean, it's something, if you got a close circle like that, it's something to be like, I've been through that, and, you know, I'm on the other side of it.
The fragility of life just becomes more and more evident the more life you live.
And it's not something that you can stop yourself from thinking about. Your body, your mind, your brain knows that a big portion of your life is behind you. So yeah, it really hits you when you get to those ages. That's a tragic topic. Moving on to another tragic topic. Milton is hitting Florida. Milton,
yes.
Milton.
Yeah. How you feel about Milton, that name?
It's weird. I would like to know how they name these. And you informed me, like, they name these storms a year, like already at the beginning of the year, and it goes male, female, male, female, male, female. And I knew that as a kid from school, but Milton is about to hit Florida. It hit Tampa in, I think, last night. Midnight, or just?
No, it's hitting Tampa today.
Okay, so I think it hit Tampa because I saw some news about how hard it was hitting.
Yeah, it's hitting, I would say. Today, you know, I mean, you know.
But this is a Category 5 storm. There is meteorologists on the news crying, getting emotional, because they are seeing, how did the guy word it? He said, we're seeing data on the screen that we didn't think that our atmosphere could even produce. So the technology that we have here, almost the storm supersedes that, because there's never been a Category 5 hurricane to hit landfall like that. That's the biggest. It's always been
it did downgrade to a 4. Right. It was a 5 in the ocean. When it hit,
that's normally when it's a 5 when it's in the Gulf with all that warm water.
Usually once it comes
landfall slows it down.
Exactly. And this would be the first hurricane to directly hit Tampa, I think I read, since 1921. So you talk about more than 100 years. Not to mention, Helene just tapped on their door and flooded out the streets. I don't think it was in Florida, it wasn't as much devastation. It like went up and affected the Carolinas. So you talking about flooding already, and now here comes another one. And then on top of that, they have to, because of the rain that comes with it, they then have to worry about the tornadoes that come behind it, because you got the cold, the heat, starts making the whirlwinds, i.e. a tornado.
This is just a devastating storm that's about to hit those people, and my prayers go out to them, because it's like you said, Helene just came, it devastated a portion of Florida, and now you getting Milton hitting, and it's the biggest storm that's ever hit.
Say Milton.
Milton.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know. You was like Milton.
Yeah. Milton.
Yeah, but you didn't. When you said it fast, you kept saying Milton.
Milton. Yeah, it's one of the biggest You making me laugh at it. It's one of the biggest storms that is going to hit Florida, and it's a shame for those people because there's no plywood, there's no sandbags that you can do for 180 mile an hour winds. There's no you can't understand like the roof of your house being submerged by water. And I don't even think it's people that live everywhere in bad areas. Me personally, and I don't know about you, I couldn't live in a place where every 3 to 4 or 5 years we go through this.
But again, it's been 100 years.
No, I'm talking about just a hurricane of this size. We know that they get a hurricane or two every 2-3 years. Like, it's Florida. They get hit with something, a category 2 or 3. But
directly in Tampa, it hasn't happened since 1921.
I know, but didn't last year one just hit Jacksonville?
Completely different geographical area. So you're talking about Tampa.
Oh, so you're talking about just Tampa?
Yeah, I'm not talking about Florida.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm talking about Florida's hit like yearly.
Yeah, and when you live in that area, you live with the knowledge of knowing it can go down. That's just like if you live in, Oklahoma or Nebraska, or Kansas, in those plain areas. When tornado season comes, you crossing your fingers. But I don't think I can live.
You're taking up the plywood down and trying to fix from Helene and.
I don't think I could live in one of those areas that are prone to those kind of catastrophic events, because really right now the best hope that I would say for anybody is to, as hard as it may be, kind of make peace with the fact that your life as you know it is probably gonna, that part is gonna be over. Meaning you're probably gonna lose your home, lose your belongings, but you have to leave so that you can live. I'm saying prior to.
Yeah, they closed all the bridges. They closed all the bridges.
But they gave the warnings. The mayor said, if you don't, you may die.
I know.
So
but I'm saying it's tens of thousands of people.
That's the rationale that people had in their head 2-3 days before. I know someone that lives in Tampa. Well, she lives between Tampa and Orlando, and I talked to her yesterday, and she was en route to her niece's house. Somebody came to pick her up. She packed up. She was leaving, which I was happy to hear, because I was like, oh wait, like she was directly in the path.
That's great for her and great for those people that got out. But unfortunately, it's a big state, and a lot of people, mostly black people, are bunkering down and have that mind, especially older people, that mindset of I'm not. Well,
why would you say mostly black people?
Because Florida is the urban areas are made up of a lot of black people. This is just what I'm seeing on clips on Instagram, where it's a lot of black people saying I'm not going nowhere. That's what I'm saying. I'm not making it up.
No, I didn't say you were
black people.
I didn't know. I'm not saying you was making it up, but I'm thinking the demographics of Florida. I've seen a lot of white people. I've seen a man who lived on a boat who was like, he's just, and it's like, sir, you in the water.
They called him Lieutenant Dan.
How
because
could
they
you
said he
say
sounded
you
like
just
it. But that's where he went. He went to his boat because he felt like, okay, I'm going to take refuge here. I wouldn't do that. Like, the ocean going to be doing all kinds of shit.
Place.
Yeah, but there's a, Lil Duval had to go get his mom. Like, he was trying to go get his mom. He couldn't, and he turned his plane back around. But there's a lot of older grandmas and people that said, I done rode out a storm or two before. I ain't going nowhere. And it's a lot of clips that's going around of people saying, yeah, I know this is bad, but this Florida, this is what we do. We ride out storms. And that's bad because they closed the bridges, is what I was saying. And there was a few thousand people on the bridge that couldn't get past. And like you said, the police was like, you're going to put yourself in a situation where now we can't save you because roads is down, electrical lines is down, and now you're putting other people in danger to come get you.
It's like 6 in one hand, half dozen in another. When I say you waited too late, I'm not being insensitive, because I understand for some people it's like, where do we go?
Yeah, and I was telling somebody at work that today, like, I think I was telling Eddie that because his daughter lives in Florida, and he was like, why don't you just drive to another state and go to a hotel? And it's like, that's not that simple to do.
I mean, well,
if you can't afford it.
Exactly. I was going to say, that is actually very simple if you have the funds. But you got to think, people who done paid bills and it's the second week, it's the first week of the month. People done already paid rent, probably paid mortgage, paid bills. And now we already know that they said most Americans don't have $400 saved. Mm-hmm. You talking about going somewhere and staying in a hotel. Now, when you think about saving your life, you drive somewhere and park in a parking lot if it means that we going to live in the storm. It's not going to come to this place. But that's a big pill to swallow, especially if you have kids. Like, to just think to yourself, let's just pack up in the car. We just going to drive till we know we safe, and we just going to park. Like that's it, it's so much. When you talk about easier said than done,
in that particular
that's easier
situation,
said
his
than done.
daughter, like he was saying, well, damn, she can just drive here. And I'm like, if you can't afford to put her on a plane, then she got to take a 20-hour drive to come here.
No,
like, that's crazy.
And it's too late. Somebody showed an economy plus ticket on United Airlines from Tampa to Miami for $1,700.
That's ridiculous.
It's too. First of all, flights ain't flying, right?
Nope.
So even like it's too late for that. You can't fly out of there. Like, you need to have left 4 days ago, because they're grounding everything, because the storm, it's there. Like, the brunt of it may not be, but it's there. So I'm just, prayers for those people who, for whatever reason, whether you couldn't leave, you didn't want to leave, you just prayed and thought that you didn't have to leave. If you are, or if you did leave, and who knows what you're coming back to, or you may be coming back to nothing. Can you imagine coming
people
back
that might
and
lose their
nothing?
life, who said themselves, I'm making the decision to stay, and ultimately they perish.
Well, that's why I said those who didn't want to, who thought they didn't have to.
They just perish, and it's like, when you see it happening, or it's coming to the point where you're about to lose your life, it's like that decision you made, you should have, like you say, you should have left 4 days ago. Not to be insensitive, but yeah, when they talking about the biggest storm since 19-something and 1921, I'm taking heed to that. The weather people are mostly wrong, but if they're crying on the news that they're showing and they're getting emotional about what's coming, then I'm gonna take heed to that. And I wouldn't want to drive somewhere and just park my car in a Walmart parking lot and sleep, but I would if it mean I'm gonna live.
Yeah,
I would if it mean, like, when I come back, my house gonna look like matchsticks. Then I ain't want to be in there. So yeah, I would do that. But our prayers and hearts go out to the people in Florida getting hit by Milton.
The next storm name is Nadine.
Wow. Before we move on, rest in peace to Sissy Tyson. Whitney Houston's mom had passed away. We would like to sit down here one week. We had some weeks without saying rest in pieces, but there's been a lot of rest in pieces lately. We thank God that it's nobody close to us, but condolences to the Houston family.
Yeah, she was 91.
Damn. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like a good life. 90?
You think, though, the heartbreak until she lost a daughter, she lost a granddaughter,
I know.
She had a hard life.
That might have contributed to it, but I'm just saying, you lived long enough to...
Jesus heartbreak Christ. And death is, so somebody, years ago that I used to work with, but, I don't want to give no details, but anyway, somebody, their mom died, and, older, he's an older gentleman, so his parents were older. Mom died, I'm going to say maybe 2 weeks ago. Definitely not a month ago. Well, yesterday, his dad died. And they were still married. And you just think the heartbreak of death. And when I asked the question when I heard that his dad died, was his parents married? And the person told me, yes, like they were. And I just thought, like, his heart was broken. He couldn't take it.
Yeah, I was ready to say that tracks, because you with your wife that long, you don't, again, when your life changed, and I always refer to it like this, when your life changed from Tuesday to Wednesday in a fashion like that, that shit is devastating.
Yeah.
Devastating. Because the way you came home Tuesday ain't the way it is on Wednesday. And from that day forward, it's all different. Like that, your wife, like that person that, your bestie, you ain't gonna see her no more. Like that shit is you ain't gonna see him no more. That shit is devastating.
And the crazy thing, he had siblings that lived overseas. So you figure they come here, for arrangements, bury their mom, go back, and you like, damn, not even a month, I gotta come right back to do the same thing for my dad. The fragility of life is just like, sheesh.
And that's how couples are who've been together 40, 50 years. Husband, wife, we got married in 2020. And it was the best thing I ever did. But I remember being like panicked and very thoughtful in my own head about like what a husband meant. Do you remember like what you did personally and the thought process you went through to try to like tell yourself what it meant to be a good wife? Because we didn't come up seeing a good wife. I didn't come up seeing a good husband. So we didn't actually know what that looked like, but we just knew that, hey, we good to each other, but we're about to get married and this thing's about to happen and it's supposed to be different. I don't know what a good husband is. I kind of have an idea in my head because I was a good boyfriend, I was a good fiance, but this husband thing is different. So for you, you were a great girlfriend, a great fiance, but what did you do for preparation other than the couples therapy to prep to be like, I want to be a good wife? Like, what do I have to do?
To be honest, nothing. And that was a
No
mistake. That was a mistake that I made because I didn't think of myself as your girlfriend or fiance. Like, we lived as husband and wife for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, we talked about this before. I kind of felt like I was kind of like, we can go to City Hall. Like, I mean, not
that's
that,
right. You kind of felt like
not that the
change.
marriage didn't. It was important to me to legalize what we had already, created. But I felt like we've been doing this. Like, in my mind, it was like, we've been doing this. This is just going to like be legal on paper now. I didn't realize the gravity and the significance of like, nah, this is different. Like, no matter how long we've been doing this, it's like, yes, it's different. It's almost like, let's say you're raising a niece or nephew, right? And it's your child. You taking care of them, like you doing everything. Their other parent, for whatever reason, isn't in the picture, whether they passed away, they rehab, whatever. Like, it's your child. You doing this, but then you get pregnant and you have a child, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. It is a difference. Not that you're gonna you love your niece or nephew and that's your kid, but you're like, wait a minute, this is different. And while I can still do some of the things the same, there is a difference. So for me, that's where I made a mistake, where it was like, yeah, we did the premarital counseling. Almost, we had to, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that was part of like a prerequisite for us to get married, not just for us, but by the person marrying us. And then getting married, even then, it was like this is us. Like, we've been doing this. And I realized with you, the gravity that it held and how important. And again, I don't want to say like it wasn't important to me, but it was just like, come on, bro. Like, we've been married. What you doing? Like, why you?
Like I'm new.
Yeah, like, exactly. Stop being different. Like, and it was like, wait a minute. So I think for me, the most important thing that I did was to shut my mouth, open my ears, open my heart, open my eyes to observe and feel and listen and pay attention and pray. Like, okay, God, like, and really allow myself to learn what you needed in a wife. Because I could be whatever kind of wife I think I want to be, but what kind of wife you want me to be. But also part of the kind of wife I wanted to be as well, plays a part into that, but it had to align. Mm-hmm. So yeah, making sure that, I was meeting your needs, making sure my needs were met. So I think like all of that, and it was like, okay, this whole everything happening at one time, because while this was new for us, the rest of our life had been in existence for so long and was still going on. And on top of that, it was also a dose of like, I'm marrying a stranger almost. Like, you had just, got your freedom, your identity. So it's like that
blind date.
Yeah, like, I gotta learn this person while learning to be his
I gotta
wife.
learn this person, but I kind of know this person.
I know him, but he's different. And now our dynamics are different as well. So while I'm trying to adjust to his personality, I'm also trying to adjust to this new role that I have that I thought was going to be the same. And in a lot of ways it is, but it's so much deeper. It's so much deeper. So for me, yeah, I made a mistake and not really doing anything and just feeling like, oh, we're good, we got this, and then realizing like, no, wait, you gotta change. You gotta change because it's different, and you can't be so stubborn and have the mindset of like, I don't know what's wrong with him, why he acting, blah, 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 because we wouldn't be married. I don't think we would. I mean, you know, we had a rocky, like, we had a great, I remember like going for such a long time without having any arguments, like, and then it was like we hit a patch that was like
2022.
That was like, all right, what's happening here? What's happening?
And I think we started with individual therapy and started to, you know, and we got insight and tools and information about, you know, like, again, you're marrying somebody new. Like, it's, you know, he has expectations, you got expectations, like, y'all got to find a happy medium.
Find the harmony in it. Find the harmony.
The flow, the beat.
Right. Like people say find the balance, but again, balance, if you think about a scale being balanced, is even. And everything in a marriage may not be even. You might have to give a little more in some instances to make up for what I may not have. I may have to give a little more to make up for what you have. So it's kind of like when you look at like a wave going this way and then the opposite wave coming this way, where it meets and it matches, but it doesn't mean that it's a straight line like this even across the board.
I look at it like just fix the puzzle. Like some days I'm a missing piece and you are the missing piece, so get in the puzzle and fix it. And some days you need a missing piece and I'm gonna get in the puzzle and fix it. I gotta know, like you said, have eyes open, ears open, and know when she's missing a piece. And when she's missing a piece, okay, that's a quality she doesn't have today. Let me boost that up. Or if I'm down and it's a quality I don't have today, you got to recognize that and fix the piece, fix the puzzle. Keep the puzzle whole every day, but realize when each other is missing a piece.
And I think another very important part of marriage that people I don't really listen to people talk about marriage, so maybe they do talk about it, but I don't look to other people for marriage advice because everybody's marriage is different. But for me, what I realize is an important piece of marriage is the evolution of the relationship. Like the wife that you needed me to be in 2020, 2021, 2023 may not be the wife that you need me to be in this season. And vice versa, the husband that I needed you to be then, I am completely a different person. Good, bad, and well, I won't say bad, like good. Like I am a completely different person in 2024 than I was when we got married. Like through trauma, heartache, heartbreak, sickness, like therapy. The healing, the therapy, like my career changed. Like, so again, who I was then and being able to see each other like, okay, this is what I need now. And you're okay with, you know, obliging that, and you and me doing the same, like you being not the same person. So I think sometimes that's where people get stuck, where it's like, you change, like we've been doing this. It's like, yeah, I changed, and that's okay. Like, so change along with me, because I'm sure you change too. Allow me to change with you too, so we can keep making that puzzle work. Because some days it might be this piece missing, some days it might be an edge missing, sometimes the whole top row might be missing. Right. Them corners is important in the
you don't have to just have one piece. It could be a few pieces missing, but you're looking for your partner, your life partner to, like, I know I'm still going to be whole today because she got them pieces. I know I'm still going to be whole today because he got them pieces. They just jiggling in his pocket. He got to see me, know what pieces I'm missing, and plug them in.
And some days it might be like, you know what, we can't find this piece right here, but we're going to work around it. We know that piece is missing. We ain't going to dwell on it. We're going to work around it. And we might find that piece tomorrow, but we're not going to allow that missing piece disturb our peace.
Nope.
That was a bar.
Yeah.
Two up top.
Because we still can see the picture. The puzzle. Oh, we still can see the picture. Just because a couple pieces missing, we know what it is.
Smoking it.
We know what it is. I want to talk to you about something too. A family crest. Like the Walter and Natasha family crest. Like we should design one and make one. And
I like it. And get it on a jacket.
Yeah, and it just be like our symbol. Like, not that we write letters or anything like that, but it's just
like
our
it.
signature.
I like it. I like it. Our legacy. Yep.
Yeah. What was I getting ready to say? That was a good conversation.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of, like, marriage is such a beautiful.
I'm sorry, I didn't go. So as a husband,
yes, I'm sorry.
I didn't. You said how I felt. I felt extremely deep and connected into marrying you because I waited so long. So I knew from therapy, the counseling, and just how I felt, whether it was me getting my freedom and feeling like, okay, I can finally be me, I could be Walter, or that, and the fact that I'm marrying Natasha, like, we're about to, again, do this thing that we just fantasized about for so many years and talked about. Now we're about to do it. Like, are we going to do it? Like, are we really doing it? Like, we're planning it. Okay, the day here, like, we're about to do it. Like, and tomorrow, she my wife. Like, this is crazy. Like, I felt so different about you, about us, about what we had in front of us. I felt so strong about, like, standing on 10 toes. Like, this is my wife. I'm gonna protect her no matter what. I'm gonna provide for her no matter what. I'm always gonna honor her. Like, I just felt so strong about the points of me being a man and what it meant to be a husband. Now, I didn't know, okay, I was just like, I'm dumping out all these qualities on the table. Like, I'm this, but I didn't know that fit what you wanted or what you needed. So it was like, okay, she can probably say, great, he's gonna provide. Great, he's gonna protect me. But there's something on the table that's not in his bowl. So let me tell him about that. Let me see if he can put that in his bowl. So when he comes to the table, he can give me that. So yeah, it was like, I wanted to listen. I wanted to grow. I wanted to heal. I wanted to be your husband. Like, it was like the greatest thing that had happened to me up to that point. The happiest thing, I mean. And it was like, I really want to not fail at this. I really want this to work. I don't have a plan B. Like, this is Tosh. Like, this is the homie. Like, I get to marry her. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not fucking this up. Like, are you crazy? Like, y'all don't get to marry Tosh. I do. So it was like, I'm not fucking this up. So it just meant a lot to me to be your husband and to marry you. It meant the world to me. So I felt super strong about it, and I wanted as much knowledge and information. And not that I had a lot of people to talk to or trust, but I guess I banked on, okay, I don't know what to do, but I know what not to do. I know what not to do. And we're not going to argue a lot. I'm never going to put my hands on you. I'm never going to talk to you crazy. Like, I know what I saw growing up, and was like, we ain't doing that.
Yeah. I think for me too, the standard was to not do what we saw, but above all of that is to do what worked for us. And I think that's why for me, like, people have great marriages that work for them, but nobody knows us like we know each other. And I don't mean individually, but individually and as a unit. And it's like, parts of me in my soul that even I may try to deny to myself for whatever reason. And
but I see it.
Yeah, and and I think even
and vice versa.
You helped me to, because I remember, and I remember just so many things. It was almost like I thought you were amazing to begin with. I wouldn't have been with you in this long to actually marry you. But it was like a light switch came on. You just like stepped. It felt like being a husband just meant so much to you. Like, everything improved. And I mean, of course, that's not to say you're perfect, I'm perfect, we're perfect, but it was just such a noticeable and tangible change about you. And let's keep it real, the sex improved. Not that anything was wrong with you. When you think like something can't get any better, and it's like, wait a minute, this is like God ordained sex. Like not
I figure you better start knocking it down now. You know what I mean? You've been knocking it down, but start knocking it down now. Like, the queen bee come to town, everything shut down. Start shutting it down.
But it really was like, oh, like, this is, and people's, God blesses marriages. And I really, really felt like that.
We promised.
We had been together doing what we was doing for however long we was doing it, but it was like God was like, okay, now y'all get that extra dose of me.
Yeah.
Y'all get that extra dose of blessings. And I know have there been times where and I don't mean just like us having an argument or something, but I mean times where like you really questioned, is this what we like?
I've only ever questioned us to that degree in 08, 09.
Okay.
In 2022, it was like more of a glitch in the matrix. Like, this is my wife. She ain't going no fucking where. I ain't going nowhere, but I know where to go where we need to fix it. Mm-hmm. Like that type of thing. Like, I just want to fix it. So let's just fix it and get it over. Nobody got hit. Nobody cheated. So
like,
let's just
why
fix
are we
it. Why are we so fucking tension? Yeah. So let's just take a step back, 2 steps back to take 3 steps. We don't know everything.
I think that was
let's admit that first and go get some fucking help.
I think that was one of those moments, like I talk about those moments of evolution where we were changing, like both in different ways, and it was trying to putting on this new shirt and trying to like work the kinks out and figure out how we fitting into this. And yeah, I mean, I have questioned
just turning into a butterfly, like when it's breaking out the fucking cocoon out of the thing.
I have questioned, like not question like I'm leaving, but like moments of like, all right, God. And when I tell you, this may sound like, I don't care what nobody thinks. It may sound so cliche, but it has been such, and nobody would know because you don't know what was in my head or my thoughts or my prayers, but it has been such specific things that have happened where it might be like, all right, God, like, we was arguing, when I say took it too far, meaning like, damn, we ain't been speaking for like 2 days, and it's like, all right, God, come on, like, soften my heart. And it just may be, me say I love you, and then you like hug me or something, like where you may not have even looked at me for 2 days, or it may just be a moment where it's like, all right, God, we need you, we need your direction, and you may come into the office like, how was your day? And it's like, oh, he's talking to me now. or and I know for me, I take accountability of being a hard ass sometimes where it's like, get yourself together. Like, you don't want it to really go down like this. Like, okay, give him a hug, give him a kiss. All I gotta do is hug, be the big spoon at night and you melt in my arms.
It's a safe place.
But yeah, it's so God place. Has always reminded me, like, this is it, sis. Like, this is him. Like, I created him for you. Like, it ain't nobody else. Like, when, like, I put that sperm and that egg together so that this can be your husband.
I would be single the rest of my life if something happened to you. Anything other than you would be dating down. And why would I do that? I wouldn't date down for happiness when I've experienced the apex of happiness. So no, that's just how I feel about us, about you.
Ditto.
Yeah, my dog. 3 grams. Lisa Marie Presley.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away.
Now that was Lisa Marie Presley.
Used to mess with Michael.
That's Elvis's daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Used to mess with Michael.
Okay.
Back in the day. But her memoir was out, and she passed away probably a couple years ago, I want to say.
I think so.
2-3 years ago.
I think so.
But, yeah, she passed away, and in her memoirs, which is a tragic thing that she said that her son died, that she kept her son in the house for 2 months with the AC on 55.
That's,
it's like half of me is like...
She died in 2023,
So I understand the heartbreak, but I don't understand that it takes that long for rationale to kick in. Like, to keep this...
How long?
3 months.
You would think, is that legal?
Well, she did it. It ain't like,
So, I mean, people knew he was dead, obviously, and she just never
kept
buried
the body
him.
at the house for 3 months with the air on 55. I think before she said something.
Before she told anybody he was dead?
Yeah, I think so. I think because it wouldn't make sense any other way. The coroner would have to come get the body if she told somebody he was dead. They would
But you
know.
Can't say bring the body back here.
No. Once the coroner comes in,
I think that's illegal. That's abuse of a corpse, I would
I'm
think.
sure
I
it's
don't
something
know.
along those lines, but it's probably looked at like she's a grieving mother. Like she's just distraught. She's out of her mind. Like she's not in her right state of mind. Not like she's really in a sane mindset, like she's trying to hurt her son. I'm just saying that could you see yourself doing something like that?
So he was 27. He died by suicide in 2020.
Mm-hmm. That the tragedy crushed his mother.
2 months she kept him at home after he died. Kept the body. She struggled to cope after the sudden passing. Oh my goodness. The macabre revelation was made in her book. Yeah, that's very tragic. I get it. I get it. Don't get me wrong, because the finality of death is like something that
it's like those moments.
It's too heavy. It's too heavy.
The moments where you have to identify the body. I guess the moments where the ambulance comes and takes your body away, and you seeing that for the first time. Like I say, if you say like, oh, you got your aunt is somebody who died and you was real close to her, and she's in the house in the bed or whatever. But then when the ambulance come and actually take the body out, people kind of fall apart, almost like when they lower the casket. Because it's like those moments of the process is like, damn, they really taking her. Like she really ain't moving. Like, or they zipped her up in a bag or something. It's like that shit is the first time you're witnessing that shit.
The coroner doesn't actually have to come. I'm thinking about when our aunt passed away, the people who came took her to the funeral home. Like she was deceased. Like the coroner only has to come if you have to go to the medical examiner's office.
But I'm sure that's a part of the same division. The coroner, the mortuary, like not the mortuary, the coroner, the pathologist people, like
no, that's only if they gotta like determine cause of death. You don't have to go to the medical examiner's office, is what I'm saying. You only have to go there if it's like if the
cause of death isn't known. Because if the ambulance people can say you died of this,
right,
then the cause of death
if it's
is
like
there.
If the police are involved, I think that's when you have to go to the medical examiner's office, or like if you want to have an autopsy done or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's known what this person died, then you have to report it, of course, to whomever. I guess the funeral home probably does the reporting to help you get a death certificate and all of that. But yeah, I'm just thinking when my aunt passed away, the people that came to pick her up transported her
directly to the funeral home?
Funeral home. The funeral home helps, because at that point, it's no need for a medical examiner. There's no need for an autopsy. There's no need for pathology. We know, I'm saying this in general, like we, the family, if you know why the person passed, then it's like, okay, you just move on. Now, if it's a case where you don't know and they need to go to the coroner's office and you need the medical examiner because it's a medical examiner, if you need them to examine. So in that case, it makes me think, he died. Maybe she had like a memorial service or something, but
everybody gets an autopsy though.
No, everybody does not.
Everybody gets cut open. They get the Y incision, don't they?
No, everybody doesn't get an autopsy. An autopsy is to determine cause of death. You can request an autopsy, but everybody does not get an autopsy. That's just to determine why you died. But if
so, if a person gets shot and dies, and they're taken, and why do they cut them?
Well, because it may be. Well, you got to think, if you get shot and you die, you go to the hospital.
No, if you're coming to the scene and a person's dead on the scene, and they're dead, and you pick them up and put them in the ambulance or the coroner's van, whatever, why do they cut them? And it makes me think about Tupac. It makes me think about King Von. Like those dudes were shot dead in the street.
How do you know they got an autopsy done?
Because I seen their pictures with the Y incision shape.
And then maybe that was to take the bullets or something out of them, but everybody doesn't get an autopsy.
That's not the reason why they did it, is to take the bullets out. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm saying that is because I thought everybody's organs came out before they hit the ground. So that's why I'm saying everybody gets an autopsy. That's what I thought. And to see those guys get shot and other people that I've heard of getting shot, and then you see their pictures online of like, okay, they got the Y incision shape, but they were dead when the cops got there. They know why they died. They got shot.
Everybody doesn't get an autopsy, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, an autopsy.
But say more words. You just keep saying everybody get an autopsy like you don't have any more explanation. Like you just want me to believe it.
I'm just telling you. I mean, you can Google it. Everybody doesn't get an autopsy. An autopsy is to determine the cause of death. If they know the cause. Now, again, if it's a criminal case and they have to determine. So maybe in a criminal case, somebody gets shot, even though you know they got shot and it was, the cause of death was homicide. Maybe the medical examiner's office has to do that. They have to do that for, documentation to say, this bullet. So maybe if you were shot multiple times, they have to specifically document which bullet killed you, because you could have been shot multiple times. You could have been shot 19 times and it was one bullet that killed you. And maybe that's required for them to document that.
Okay, so we're just going to leave it on an autopsy is only required for cause of death.
An autopsy is done to determine cause of death.
Okay, we will Google this and get back to this. Yeah. Second gram, the Black Hammer Crew.
What is that?
The Black Hammer Crew is I don't know what to call them. I want to say a rapist gang in Atlanta who has a van who drives around snatching people from bars, driving them, this is what they say, driving them back to houses, trying to turn them out.
So like men and women? Is it men taking women?
Men taking men. I don't know if it's women involved when they get there, but it's gay men taking men from clubs that are drunk and kidnapping them, taking them back to houses, trying to turn them out. I don't think they're trying to turn them out. It's rape is what's going on here. They're sodomizing these dudes. And the ringleader got locked up in Atlanta. But the gang is still on the streets.
But are these people that have money, and is that part of it as well? Like they trying to rob them in? Like that's horrible.
They didn't say anything about money. They just said there's a sexual gang driving around Atlanta stealing men from nightclubs who are drunk to take them to houses to turn them out. Those were the words that they said. They didn't say they're looking for rich men. They didn't say they're looking for drug dealers. They just said it's gay men driving around Atlanta stealing dudes.
Like I said before, the devil is so happy. He just got his feet up, chilling, smoking a cigar. This is just like Sodom and Gomorrah going on in this world.
That brought me back to before we move on to the third gram. When you was just talking about asking God, and we was talking about marriage, and we always talk about asking God to order our steps, right? Say if you're not a married woman and you're a fiance, and you ask God, me and my fiance ain't speaking, things ain't right. God, just order my steps. Like, give me a sign. And you go to work and some nice man speaks to you and is nice to you and opens the door for you, and you like sitting at your desk, and maybe he just comes past and says, hey, you eat this a lot. You eat this a lot. You didn't bring any lunch today here, and just bought you lunch or something like that. Is that God putting a sign, or is that the devil working? Because we was talking about that, and then you just mentioned the devil. So as a woman, you're not married yet. So if you were married, I would say it's God. Like it's the devil working.
Right.
But which one? What? Because you're married under God, so it wouldn't be God. But is that a sign?
It could be. I mean, I wouldn't take that as just one sign because the man bought you lunch. Now, if you're in a relationship where this dude don't do nothing for you, he don't care about you, he asking you for lunch money.
Yeah, all of that.
And then, it could very well possibly be God letting you know there is someone out here who will treat you the way that you should be treated.
Is it the devil working?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's anything devilish about that. I would kind of be like, okay, possibly. I wouldn't just take that as, I'm going home and packing my bags and I'm leaving off of this one thing. But it could potentially be God giving you a sign and letting you know, like, it's better out there.
Or?
It could be the devil, but what about it would be devilish?
The fact that the same reason why it would be devilish if you was in a marriage and the devil
because
was
marriage and adultery is different than you being a fiance.
So the devil can dabble in adultery because you're already doing something bad?
No, I'm saying it's sinful to be adulterous.
I know. So
If
you're
you
saying
already
in this
not
case, the
married-
devil can dabble in adultery because it's bad anyway. God ain't going to do that.
I'm not saying it can't be the devil, but I mean, I wouldn't necessarily look. But I would probably look at it in a more positive light until it was a reason to look at it. But, you know, that's the optimism in me.
I was ready to say you would always look at it in a positive light, where it should have been like 50-50. I think would have been, you know, even for the men, even for the women.
I don't know.
But, you know, double standards. Last Grand. Oh, I just want to give a shout out. I seen the clips of LeBron and Bronny stepping on the court for the first time. And I just got to say, that shit probably felt amazing to him. Like, to walk up, hit your son on the butt, and like he got the same uniform on as you.
Does his jersey say James Jr.?
James Jr. And it's like he had to be smitten over that, and it's just, you know, it's one of the reasons why everybody should enjoy LeBron while he's here and still playing, and you'll miss him when he's gone. But he's exceeded what he was expected to do in basketball, probably in life. But just to have your son out there on the court with you like he was a baby, then he almost died, like now he made it and he's on the same team, like you get to play with him. Like there's people on the planet that don't get that opportunity, and he made
most people on the planet.
And then he made it happen himself, like even with his own, you know, his own power, like to do something like that is huge for a father. So just shouts out to LeBron and Bronny. Last Graham, what is your city known for? No tasty cakes, no cheesecakes, no Liberty Bell, no Rocky.
I mean, you probably would say no water ice either, because that's something.
None of them.
I would say Philly is probably known for the musicality. Like Kenny Gamble was really big in Gamble and Huff coming out of Philadelphia.
Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff.
You know, Jill Scott, Soul Child, Jasmine Sullivan. So I would say Philly is really a musical. It's known for its musical talent. I mean, we also want to look at, you know, the horrific, you know, violence, but I don't think right now that's specific.
And see, I was going on a more positive note.
Yeah,
like optimism, and that's you're normally you.
No, right? No, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't say the violence because I don't think there's anything specific about Philly that's different than like all the other places that's experiencing the violence that they are. So I wouldn't say the violence that's happening right now. But yeah, I would think the music is what would stand out to me. Roots. I forgot about the Roots.
Okay, I was about to say the restaurants and but that's more along the music. So I'm gonna go a different way. I'm gonna say rappers, boxing, because of Joe Frazier, Bernard Hopkins, those twins that fought. I forget their names. Tiger and Rock.
Danny Garcia.
So yeah, I would say boxing and the restaurants, without naming all the other shit like Tasty Cakes and Cheesecakes and Liberty Bell and Rocky and what
cream cheese,
Scrapple, like
pretzels.
All that shit, pretzels. That's low hanging fruit. It's a wrap. A2TP Podcast, episode 196, coming to a close. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, Podchaser, Google Podcasts, Player FM. You're gonna look like you 3'9" when you sit back. Type us in, like us, subscribe us, comment, share, engage a little bit. We will too. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.